This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'd like to be joined by Hall of Fame promoter Bob Arum this evening. Bob, first and foremost, how are you?
Okay, really good, really good. I'm in California. I'm going back to Vegas this afternoon. Sun's shining, so I've been double vaccinated, so what can be bad?
That's good to hear, Bob. We've also had a very big fight announced, a huge fight for world boxing, the undisputed super lightweight championship, Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, a monster fight for the boxing world. Where does this fight rank among the elite fights you promoted over the years, Bob? It's a fantastic fight.
Well, really, this fight can be right up there with the great fights, with the great, you know, there are fights that become great in the ring, and there are fights that are great going into the fight and maintain their greatness in the ring. This is one of those fights. This is a real fight with two fighters that have been dominating in the 140-pound division. Both great athletes, both, have admirable stories, and now they're fighting for supremacy. It really doesn't get better than that. It really doesn't. And, the odds makers will have this a very, very close fight. There'll be tremendous amount of betting on both sides of the Atlantic. And that's good for boxing. It's any sport that is so compelling where the match has gambling action really enhances the sport and creates great interest in the event.
You said it there, Bob. This is a huge occasion. Two unified champions, two unbeaten guys who've looked fantastic along the way as well. But as a fight as well, I don't want to jinx it, but on paper, looking at the two respective styles of these guys, you think we're going to see a fight to match the occasion?
Yeah, because neither guy, they're all the two, not crazy, but controlled macho guys. In other words, they don't want to take a step back. They don't want to show weakness. And therefore, they'll bring out their strongest armor. So one thing it won't be is a particularly defensive fight, but you're going to see two guys really go at it. I mean, that's the history of Josh Taylor. It's the history of Jose Ramirez. That's how they fight. Gutty warriors. I can't wait for that fight to happen. Now, in finding a spot for that fight, the pandemic, I'm an optimist, seems like it's coming towards an end. I say that because I've been vaccinated. And we'll be able to do spectators in Nevada, certainly. And now probably 50%. Now we can do it in the big football stadium where the Raiders play, the new spanking new beautiful stadium, and put in 40,000 people or 35,000 people, or do it in MGM Grand and put in like 7,500 people, or T-Mobile, which is a big arena, put in 10,000. So if the UK health minister allows tourists from the UK to travel out, even if it's just those who've been vaccinated, then we'd go for the bigger venue, because everybody tells me that all things being equal, 5,000-6,000 fans will come from the Scotland and the rest of the UK for the fight. And wouldn't that be wonderful for Vegas, for the fans? They would be greeted with open arms by all the hotel resorts here in Las Vegas. So that's what I'm hoping for. Whether, it'll absolutely come to fruition as far as spectators and relieving us of the tourist restriction, that's out of my hands. But we're going to do everything possible to convince the authorities to let tourists, even just vaccinated tourists, come to Las Vegas to enjoy this event.
That's great to hear that we could have a crowd at this fight, Bob, and we could have people come from my neck of the woods as well. Now, I did read alongside this announcement, this will be shown on ESPN, it'll be free for the fans in the States. I was just hoping you'd give us any sort of indication of who could broadcast this fight in the UK, Bob. Is there any news yet?
Well, what we're trying to do, very important, to get a start time. Because if we can get a start time approved by ESPN, which is of earlier, like say 7 o'clock on the East Coast, 4 o'clock on the West Coast, like we did for Lennox Lewis fights years ago, then we could tell the broadcaster, whether it's pay-per-view or regular, that the fight will be shown in the UK no later than, say, midnight, which I think would be, it's a little past prime time, but it would be really good.
Now, Bob, we are likely going to have an undisputed champion, but for a draw on May 22nd. What awaits the winner of this fight?
Well, the winner of this fight, can go a number of ways. He can fight some of the great 140-pounders around, like Zepeda, Barboza. He can, if he wants, maybe entertain a lightweight champion like Teofimo Lopez, or he could determine that, no, I want to go and test myself further, and I want to go and fight a welterweight champion, and we could match him against Crawford or one of the other champions.
Well, Bob Arum, thank you so much for your time this evening. Hopefully, May 22nd, we have a lot of fans there. We can get a crowd to go along with this super fight.
Absolutely, I'll buy you a beer. I'll buy you a beer because they're going crazy here, because you tell them Scots and Brits are coming to a fight in Las Vegas. They get all the beer trucks in because they never sell as much beer as when the Brits and UK guys get over here to root on their favorite fighters. So great news for the beer business.
I can vouch for that, Bob. I certainly saw the beer being emptied at Wilder Fury too. So we'll hold you to that, and I'll see you there for a beer. Thank you very much, Bob Arum.
Okay, terrific.